Papa dan Mama, berikut profil singkat pembicara kunci hari ini. Kak Yuma Soerianto merupakan salah satu pengembang aplikasi termuda di dunia. Dia telah menerbitkan 10 aplikasi Apple iOS dan permainan augmented reality-nya seperti Let's Talk AR, serta dinobatkan sebagai Game of the Day di Apple App Store. Kak Yuma mulai memprogram ketika dia berusia 6 tahun. Ia telah menjadi pemenang beasiswa Apple Worldwide Developer Conference selama 4 tahun berturut-turut. Pada usia 10 tahun, ia menjadi pemenang beasiswa termuda di Apple Worldwide Developer Conference tahun 2017. Di sana, Kak Yuma bertemu dan dipuji oleh CEO Apple, Tim Cook. Di waktu luangnya, Kak Yuma mengajarkan coding dan pengembangan aplikasi di YouTube. YouTube channel Kak Yuma yaitu Anyone Can Code. Kak Yuma juga sering diundang untuk mengajar coding di berbagai negara. Kak Yuma suka berbagi ilmu dengan berbicara di konferensi internasional. Pada World Youth Forum di Mesir, ia dianugerahi piala oleh Presiden Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Kak Yuma percaya bahwa ia akan membuat dunia menjadi tempat yang lebih baik dengan teknologi dan aplikasinya. Bagi Papa dan Mama, serta RoboKids yang ingin bertanya, Kak Yuma dapat langsung mengajukan pertanyaan di kolom chat. Kepada Kak Yuma, dipersilakan.
Thank you, Mbak, and thank you, Robologee, for inviting me to speak today. I'm so excited to be here. Selamat pagi, Bapak, Ibu, dan teman-teman semua. Terima kasih telah datang ke sesi saya. Nama saya Yuma. Maaf, saya tidak pandai bahasa Indonesia. Untuk selanjutnya, saya bicara bahasa Inggris. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to speak in English now. But yeah, thank you for having me. It's just great to be able to talk. Anyways, as you may have heard, I am an iOS app developer, and I started coding when I was 6 years old. And I was around the same age as some of you when I started coding. Anyways, I'm going to share my screen now so I can show you some of the things I have done. So let me share. All right, so I have had quite a lot of amazing experiences being an app developer. And first of all, I was an Apple WWDC scholarship winner. And I won the Apple WWDC scholarship or Worldwide Developers Conference scholarship 4 years in a row. And WWDC is an annual event held by Apple where they show off their latest technologies and all the stuff they've been working on. And it's just amazing. As you can see here, in 2017, I was the youngest scholarship winner. And I got to meet these amazing people such as Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple. And if I go down here, yeah, I've been to the scholarship or WWDC from 2017 to 2020, and it was just amazing. And by the way, the conference is held in California, so I had to travel all the way to America to attend, which was just crazy. Anyways, other than that, I am also an international speaker. And I spoke in Egypt twice about leadership back in 2017. And then I also spoke again for artificial intelligence in 2019. And in 2019, there were thousands of people here just watching me speak, as you can see here. And I even spoke in front of the president of Egypt. As you can see here, in 2017, I was awarded by the president. And of course, I was also featured on the App Store. So as you can see, this is me. And you can also see one of my games, Let's Stack AR, featured as Game of the Day on the App Store. And I've made 10 apps, and this is just one of them. And I will talk about my apps later on, after I talk about my achievements and all the stuff I've done. And of course, I've received so many other awards, and I've been able to speak at various different sessions or coding workshops. For example, this is Today at Apple. So I went to the Apple Store in Melbourne and Singapore, and I got to speak in front of so many different kids and adults trying to learn how to code. And it's just great to be able to see so many aspiring coders learning from me. And as you can see here, I ran another coding workshop in Melbourne for this event called the Melbourne Knowledge Week. I also presented as well. And here's so many different achievements. And down here, I was selected as one of the icons of Indonesia for the icon Pancasila for 2019. And yeah, I won the award. Otherwise, I also have my own YouTube channel where I teach others how to code. And the channel here is called Anyone Can Code, where I teach other people how to make apps. As you can see here, in this tutorial, I'm teaching others how to make an app with AR or augmented reality, which I will talk about later or explain. And then if I head over, you can see this is some of the code I use to make Swift apps. And in my YouTube channel, I almost have 13,000 subscribers learning from me. And I think and I have so many different people learning from me from around the world. And yeah, it's just mind-blowing, really. And if I go over here, this is the result. This is what the app is. As you can see, it's actually putting this robot face on my head. And then I can talk and I can do so many different things. And this is just one of my videos or one of my tutorials on my YouTube channel. I'm going to stop sharing and I am going to move over and share some of my apps. Since some of you would like to see some of the apps I have made for the App Store. So let me share. And I need to play. Let me see. There we go. Okay. So as you can see, I have made 10 apps on the App Store. You can see some of my apps here and some of the different things I have made. Now, first of all, I'm going to talk about my most recent app I've made called Ant Panic AR. This is actually one of my most favorite apps, and I've been working on this app for about 1.5 years. And as you can see, in this game, you have to protect your dessert from these robot ants. And you have to just use your phone as a magnifying glass. And if you focus that magnifying light beam, you can actually burn the robot ants. This game uses a technology called augmented reality, which I said for one of my games before. Anyways, augmented reality is this new technology where you can actually overlay these virtual objects in the real world, and it looks like they're in real life. So this game, I made it because I was just playing around with a magnifying glass, And then I just wanted to, make a game out of it. And I thought, well, it would be really cool if I used AR. So that's how I made the game. And yeah, it took me about 1.5 years, and I used Unity, a game engine, to make the game. Anyways, here's one of my other games called Let's Stack AR. In this game, you have to help this duck in a UFO stack blocks on top of each other and try to make the tallest tower. But the challenge here is that you have to align the blocks. You have to tap and time the blocks so they're actually aligned with the tower. Because if they're not aligned, some slices, they just fall off. And then it just gets harder and harder the more you go. You just have to survive as long as you can and make the tallest tower. And this is Let's Stack, which is the game I made before Let's Stack AR. And Let's Stack is a game just like Let's Stack AR, except it's not an AR, but instead of a duck in a UFO, it's now a duck in a crane, and you have to, again, build the tallest tower. Now, this is my first app I've made called Kid Calculator. Kid Calculator is an app where, well, it's a calculator, but it's made for kids. So there's these very bright colors, and it's very fun to use. And whenever you tap on a number, it actually tells you what number you pressed on. And I made this app so kids can learn the numbers and all the different operations and maths. And this app I made when I was 9 years old. So I was very young, and I was very proud of this app when I made it. This is WeatherDuck, the second app I made. WeatherDuck is an app where, well, it tells you the weather. So there's a duck which actually tells you what to wear. It also tells you the weather, the temperature, if it's going to be sunny or if it's going to rain. And I actually made this app when I was 9 as well. But I also made it because I really, basically in Melbourne, the weather is so unpredictable. It can be sunny 1 minute, and then the next minute it starts raining, and it's very unpredictable. So I made this app so I just know what to wear for the day. So in case it rains, I can wear a rain jacket, and WeatherDuck tells me what to wear. This app is called Hunger Button, and this is basically just a simple app where you can press a button if you're hungry and don't know where to eat. It tells you the details of a restaurant that's actually nearby you. So it picks a random restaurant that you can walk to, and it tells you the rating, tells you the location, and how to get there, as you can see in the map. Here's another game called Fireworks Builder AR. In this game, you have to build a fireworks, and then you have to launch it, and you can make a fireworks display. And it's really fun to use. And because I'm using augmented reality, I can make it look like it's a real life fireworks display. Oh, I skipped one up. Okay. This is Swipey Trash, another game I made. And I made this game because, I made it with my friends from my primary school. And we made it because, the world is being polluted, or the oceans are being polluted with rubbish. So I wanted to educate people on how to clean the rubbish and, put the trash away. So the animals, if I play this again, it actually throws up the rubbish, and then you can sort them. So if you swipe left, you recycle, and then you swipe right, and then it puts it in the bin. And then this is the final app I'm going to show for today, called Pocket Poke, which is simply just a Pokedex. You can search through Pokemon, you can filter or search Pokemon, and then it tells you all the details about it. Just like a Pokedex, if you've played Pokemon. Anyways, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I am going to head back over. Now, so you've seen a lot of apps I made, and you might be wondering, well, how did I make all these apps? How did I go from being like 5 years old, 6 years old, and then I just become an app developer? How did I do that? But first of all, I want to explain to some of you who don't know what coding is, what is coding? Because coding, well, some of you might not understand what it is. And coding is pretty much just like a recipe, like instructions, step by step. And it tells you it tells the computer what to do. So if you for example, if you want to bake a cake, there is a recipe telling you what to do. So first of all, you mix all the eggs and flour, and then you stir, and then you bake it, and then you have a cake. And that's what coding is. You tell the computer what to do. So first of all, I do this, and then I do that. And that's how you go step by step, and that's how you create a program or an app, in my case. And the thing about coding is that you have to be very specific, and you have to do it in the right order. Because if you make a recipe, or if you make a cake and you don't, let's say, put in the flour, then it's not a cake. And if you bake before you stir, it's not going to be a very good cake. And that's just like coding. If you don't do it right, it might not come out right. And you just have to do the steps correctly, and then you have an app. And since I've explained what is coding, now I have to explain my journey. So first of all, as I said, I started coding when I was 6 years old. And I started coding because I really wanted to know what technology was. I wanted to know, there's like so many different things in this, like, there's these computers, there's these phones, there's these iPads, just so many different things in the world. And I just wanted to know, how do you do this? How does this work? So I started off with, I just, wanted to know how all this worked. And then I realized that, I learned that all these computers use coding. And coding is what you use to, for example, make Zoom, and that's how you get on the Zoom call, because the people who made Zoom use coding. And so I was like, I just thought, wow, coding is so amazing, and I really wanted to learn it. So that's what I did. I learned it. And I started off with making with online coding tutorials, because when I wanted to learn how to code, there were no coding schools for me to learn how to code. So what I did was I had to just look online, and I was self-taught. I had to learn by myself. And after I was self-taught, after I started learning how to code, I started off with like block coding, so simple coding. And then I went on to a programming language called JavaScript. I also used HTML and CSS. And these programming languages I used to make websites. And because of these websites, I really just wanted to make my own website, which is called Made by Yuma. If you saw my highlights page, that's my website. And I really wanted to make, I kept making more online games, online websites. Then I wanted more of a challenge. So I decided to make apps and games. But, well, there were coding schools, but none of them taught me how to make an app. And I wanted to use a programming language called Swift, which at the time was very new. And I just wanted to know, it was really new. It was made by Apple. And I thought it was really good because it's so simple to learn, and it was very useful to make apps. And so I had to learn online again. And I had to learn from an online Stanford University course. So there was just me, like I was 8 years old, learning from a university course. And it was quite tricky to understand. But eventually I understood it and I learned how to make apps. So I started to make apps. I started with Kid Calculator. That was my first app I made when I was 9 years old. Then now I have 10 years. Now I have 10 apps, not 10 years. I have 10 apps on the App Store, which I showed you before. All right, and now, since some of you are aspiring coders, since some of you want to make apps, I want to explain, what does it take to make an app? Because some of you might be wondering that. And making apps is, well, there's a lot of creativity involved, and some of you are young, so some of you have like so many different ideas, in your head. Some of you want to learn so many, or want to make so many different things, and yeah, that's good. You have to be really creative to make an app, and once you have a good idea, a unique idea as well, one that stands out from all the other apps on the App Store. Once you have an idea, then you start making it, and then you start coding bit by bit, and then you have to keep testing and testing and testing, and eventually you have an app. But of course, sometimes there are some problems, some bugs along the way. So sometimes it can be tricky making an app. But the more problems you solve, the more, I guess, you get really excited, because when you finish the app, it's just so exciting. It's just so exciting. It's so, what's the word for it? So satisfying when you make an app and release it on the App Store. Anyways, moving on to my YouTube channel. So when I was 9 years old, I knew how to make all these apps, but I thought that there were other kids who wanted to learn how to code. So that's why I just wanted to make my YouTube channel to teach other kids how to code. But eventually, adults and different people from different parts of the world, people from Indonesia, from the US, from Turkey and Africa, there's so many different people wanting to learn coding from me. That's really when I realized that there's just so many kids, like some of you really want to learn how to code. And you guys are really lucky, because you have robology to learn how to code. And when I learned how to code, it was very tricky, because I was by myself. I had to learn by myself. But eventually I got to where I am now. But you have people who can help you. So you guys are really lucky. Anyways, so that's really my story. Other than making apps on my YouTube channel, I made that's all. I then went on to WWDC, as you heard. Then I started making started speaking and doing coding workshops. Right now I'm speaking to all of you. So that's what I've been doing, as well as making apps and teaching coding. And I think in the future, I hope I can really just keep doing what I'm doing, and hopefully I can make apps that solve problems. For example, Weather Duck, I made that because of the unpredictable weather in Melbourne. And for Hunger Button, which I should have said, Hunger Button I made because I had there were so many places, so many restaurants I could go to nearby, and whenever I went out with my parents, we never knew where to eat. So that's why I made Hunger Button. And because I'm solving these little problems, hopefully I could, make people's lives easier with technology, and that's what I really love about it. And hopefully in the future, as I said, I can go and solve bigger problems, bigger issues in the world, and hopefully I can make the world a better place with technology. Otherwise, just like all of you aspiring coders, I want to teach people how to code, because there are so many people who are interested in coding, and I want to teach them, just like what I'm doing with my YouTube channel. But I want to be bigger. I want to, have more things I want to make. Otherwise, that's all I really want to do. And to leave off, to, I guess, have some takeaways, some things some tips. I just want to say that when you learn how to code, it's going to be really fun. I really enjoyed coding, but sometimes, as I said, there are going to be some problems, some things you don't understand. But that's why you have to persevere. You have to keep going. You have to keep you have to fix a problem. Eventually, you'll find a solution to a problem, and it can take, it might take only a few minutes, but sometimes it can take a really, really long time. That's why you have to persevere. You don't give up. That's an Indonesian thing I've heard, which is, don't give up. Pantang menyerah. Anyways, other than that, I think you should also make programs which you really, really enjoy. So let's say you liked cooking, then you should probably make a cooking program, because if you pick something that you enjoy and mix it with technology, then you will really enjoy coding. And you just have to find what you're passionate about besides coding, and then you make something about it with code. Otherwise, just keep experimenting. If you make something, you can just, go out there. You can go over the top, make so many random and different things. But that's how you learn, because there's so many different things you learn from making all those things. For example, at Panikayar, it was quite a big project for me. It took me 1.5 years to make. But that's why I wanted to learn Unity, which is a game engine I use to make it. And that's why I had to learn it while I was making it, because I was more familiar with Xcode and Swift, but I wanted to do more. I wanted more of a challenge. That's how I wanted to learn Unity. Anyways, that's all I have to say. And yeah, that's all I really need to say. So I'm going to switch back to Indonesian. Demikianlah presentasi saya. Semoga cerita saya menginspirasi kalian semua. Terima kasih. Thank you, everyone.
Oke, terima kasih Kak Yuma. Papa dan Mama, bagaimana cerita pengalaman dari Kak Yuma? Menginspirasi bukan? Tadi Kak Yuma membahas tentang coding. Dalam melakukan coding, kita harus melakukan secara berurutan. Yang pertama. Yang kedua, coding dapat memberikan dampak positif kepada lingkungan. Yang ketiga, tidak ada batasan umur untuk berkarya. Dan yang keempat, the more you practice, the better app you will get. Jadi, ketika kita menemukan passion, kita harus rajin dan semangat untuk berlatih. Sekali lagi, kita berikan tepuk tangan untuk Kak Yuma yang sudah berbagi pengalaman di workshop hari ini. Teman-teman bisa memberikan reaction untuk Kak Yuma ya. Oke, sekarang Kak Ratu ingin membuka sesi pertanyaan. Kak Ratu akan memilih 4 peserta untuk menanyakan langsung kepada Kak Yuma. Untuk teman-teman dan Mama Papa, silakan tulis ya nama timnya di kolom chat. Nanti Kak Ratu pilih timnya dan bisa menanyakan langsung kepada Kak Yuma. Nah, sekarang Kak Ratu pengen tanya dulu nih sebelum RoboKids tanya ke Kak Yuma. The interface that you made in the application, is that from you, or you have a specific team to do that?
So when I design my apps, I like to sketch them down first, but of course I'm not a very good artist, so that's why I have my dad, who is like a really good designer. So he designs some of the drawings. So he takes my sketches and turns them into digital drawings, and that's how I design my apps. Otherwise, all the coding and everything else is is mine. But one of the things that that was digitized by my dad. So was my duck. So I drew my duck first on Sketch, and then my dad converted it to an image, and then that's why I put my apps. And yeah, he's actually the duck is actually right here. That's my duck. Anyways, yeah, so my dad does my designs.
Oke, berarti Papa, Mama, dan RoboKids, Yuma adalah salah satu contoh nih dari Indonesian Smart Family. Karena Yuma membangun aplikasinya dan bersama ayahnya membangun desainnya seperti itu. Oke, sudah ada tim yang ingin bertanya nih. Kak Ratu lihat ya. Yang pertama dari tim Saya Pisan, Galin. Oke. Halo tim Saya Pisan.
Halo.
Halo, oke. Silakan Galin mau bertanya apa? Nanti Kak Yanka akan membantu menerjemahkannya ke Kak Yuma.
Kak Yuma suka main game nggak?
Iya, banyak. I really like playing games. But yeah, I love playing games. Wait, can you say that again?
Coba ditanya lagi, Galin.
Kak Yuma suka main game apa? Terus kenapa?
What games do you usually play, and what is that?
What games do I usually play? I play many different games. I think one of the games I used to play was it's called KSP. I'm not sure if you know it, but it's like basically it's called Kerbal Space Program. It's like a space simulator. So you build your own rocket and then you fly it in space. Another game that's really popular is Among Us. I think some or most of you know Among Us. It's like a detective game. And then there's also Animal Crossing, which is like it's a Nintendo game. Among Us, Animal Crossing is basically it's like a life simulator. Anyways, I think you guys know what Animal Crossing and Among Us is, but yeah, those are the games I mostly play. Also, what games do you play? Just wondering.
Roblox.
Yeah, it's a good game. Yeah.
Oke, terima kasih untuk Galin. Lanjut ke pertanyaan yang kedua, ada Registril Andrew. Tim Registril Andrew, apakah ada? Halo Registril Andrew. Oke, sepertinya kita lanjut ya ke
Yes.
sudah. Oke, silakan Registril tim untuk pertanyaannya.
Yuma, do you have any storyboard for your goal and for your apps?
Story. I guess if you're talking about like storyboard, as in like I make my app. Yes, I do make storyboards for my app. So it's very important to plan your app. Yeah, storyboards. It's really good because sometimes I have the idea in my head and I want to write it down, and it's really easy to draw it and sketch. For example, I think here, actually, I think I need to, I need to get rid of my background. All right. Yeah, this is one of my sketches. This is for Ant Panic AR. So yeah, I use storyboards. It's very important. It's very useful when you want to design an app. Yeah, thank you for the question, by the way. It's a good question.
Oke, terima kasih Register Team. Sekarang kita lanjut ke penanya yang ketiga. Ada Nate Azina Dahafiz. Kepada tim Nate, dipersilahkan untuk mengajukan pertanyaannya.
Kak Yuma, kok bisa menang challenge tadi itu?
Oh, so I'm guessing. So, how do you get WWDC? I think that's
Maybe the question is how could you win the WWDC?
Okay. Yes, I understand. Yeah. So to win a WWDC scholarship, what you have to do is you have to make a project. You have to create a coding program, and it has to be something that's very creative, something that the people at Apple, the engineers, will enjoy. So that's what I did. So I code the program and then I submit it, and there's like thousands of people applying to get a scholarship, but so around like 350 scholarship winners receive the scholarship.
Is it an early project?
Can you say that again?
Is it an early project?
Oh, what is your early project?
Oh, yeah. So you, in terms of my early projects, like if you're talking about like really, really early, most of them are like test apps. So, I think when my my first app, it's not in the App Store. It's just a test I made, and all it did was there was just a text on the screen and just said, "Good job, I made it." And it's really simple. It's a really simple app. But the first app I published would be Kid Calculator, which is a calculator that I showed you in the presentation.
Oh, okay.
Terima kasih Nate. So Yuma, there is a question a chat from Padang Moncar Bagus. Do you think every child should know anything about coding?
I think personally, coding is like very important. Since like, if you want to, I guess in the future there is going to be a lot of technology. So coding is one way to understand technology, but also to build like problem solving skills, which are very important in the future. But of course, not everyone wants to be a programmer. So I think coding is important, but it's not like I'm going to force you to code. If you enjoy coding, then yes, you should learn coding. But if you like something else, then if you want to try coding, then sure. But it doesn't mean that you have to be a programmer. But it's still a very useful skill.
Okay, so it depends on your passion, right?
Yes.
Jadi kita harus sesuai dengan passion kita juga. Misalnya kalau kita suka coding, kita harus semangat dalam belajar coding. Kalau misalnya kita suka belajar bahasa Inggris, kita juga harus semangat untuk berlatih belajar bahasa Inggris. Seperti itu teman-teman. Kemudian pertanyaan terakhir nih dari RAL38 Rasya. Kepada Rasya, dipersilahkan untuk mengajukan pertanyaannya.
Gak ada yang...
I can heard that ayah itu seorang desainer dari aplikasimu sendiri. Di aplikasimu itu ada semacam suara gitu nggak? Dan dapat suaranya itu di mana, atau ada salah satu temanmu yang bikin suaranya?
Okay, so the question is from your application, is that any sounds, original sounds from you or your friends or someone?
Yes. Yeah. So for my music, for example, Kid Calculator, when you press a number, it says 1, 2, 3, and those voices, that's me recording it. The same with Webperduck. And for some of my games, like for example, Panic AR, I actually made the music. So I composed it. I made, that's original. So yeah, some of my music is original. Actually, yeah, I think most of my music is original. But yeah.
Okay, thank you, Rasya. Next team ada sci-fi team Aska. Sepertinya karena Robo Kids ini bersemangat nih Kak Yuma, so they want to ask you some questions.
Yes. Okay.
Oke, dipersilahkan Aska.
I have a question. What game would you make next? And have you made a simulator game?
So for my next game or app, that's still something I need to decide. Because recently I published Panic AR, and I've been quite busy with speaking and teaching others and my YouTube channel. But for my next apps, that's something I need to think about. So I don't know what my next game is going to be. That's something I have to plan. Were there any other questions?
Apa sudah menjawab, Aska? Oke, sepertinya sudah menjawab ya. Kita lanjut ke penanya berikutnya, yaitu Tim Go dari Sang. Kepada Tim Go dari Sang, dipersilahkan untuk mengajukan pertanyaannya.
These are some very good questions, by the way. Thanks for asking all these questions.
Are you do you think of working on any games right now?
Can you say that again? I didn't understand that.
Are you working on any games at the moment?
At the moment, I'm more actually focusing on updates for my current apps. So so for my it's mostly just updating my apps. Since I have 10 apps, so I need to make sure they're all working fine. Otherwise, other that, then I might be I'm not exactly sure what my next app or game is, but I'm just currently busy with updating my apps, YouTube, or my YouTube channel, teaching others and speaking. So yeah, that's really it.
Baik, kita ke pertanyaan selanjutnya ya. Terima kasih Go dari sang tim. Ada tim kuda laut. Kepada tim kuda laut dipersilahkan untuk mengajukan pertanyaannya.
Ya. Hai. Jadi pertanyaannya berapa jam dalam sehari Kak Yuma menghabiskan waktu untuk membuat coding? Gitu.
Baik, terima kasih tim kuda laut. So how many hours do you spend in making coding?
So I guess I don't like spend the entire day coding because of course I have school and other things to do. But I usually might spend like 1 or 2 hours coding. Like if I am working on something. But otherwise, you know, I still play games. I still play with my friends. I still go to school. So yeah, usually my life is quite normal. But I code, you know, just every now and then, about 1 hour a day. Yeah.
Oke, terima kasih tim kuda laut. Kita ke next question. Tim Harvest Stanford dipersilahkan untuk mengajukan pertanyaan. Sebelum tim Harvest Stanford mengajukan pertanyaan, Kak Ratu penasaran nih, tokoh inspiratornya Yuma siapa sih? So I would ask you about what is your inspiration in making coding?
Inspiration. I guess for my inspiration, okay, if it's for coding, I'm not exactly sure. I just really just look at games or developers who really just inspire me with their like amazing ideas. I can't exactly, I don't really exactly know, but in terms of like, you know, if I'm talking about like in general, I think that would be Steve Jobs because he's, you know, he made Apple. He founded Apple. He started it, and he's done a lot of stuff and some really great stuff as well. He's, you know, he made the iPhone, and I think he's really a big inspiration for me.
Oke, sepertinya tim Harvest belum bisa terhubung ya. Nah, pertanyaan terakhir nih dari tim.
Hello.
Okay.
Do you guys hear me?
Okay, so the last question from the audience. So how could you draw the sprite, the character of your of your application apps?
Okay, so if I make so for the sprites, everything for my games, I guess like first of all what I do was I sketch them. I just draw them on paper. Then, you know, as I said before, my dad he turns those sketches into a digital version of it, so an image. I guess there's so many different like ways to do it. Like in terms of apps. But yeah, any drawing app will really do. Yeah, so as you can see here is like sketches for, I think I need to go back here. Yeah, there we go. So as you can see, these are like some of the sketches, some like me like writing down ideas and sketches for the for so you can see some of these are like math here, but otherwise these are some sketches of like some of the designs. And my dad, for BIS and Panic AR, the 3D models, they're actually turned into 3D models with a program called Blender. But yeah, that's what I use.
Okay, this is one more last question because the audience is very excited. So from her question, I always want to become a software engineer someday, even though I'm just 14 right now, but I don't know where can I start my journey. I've learned a lot of programming like Python, C++, and CSS. I've also made an app using Python, but I don't know how to start my journey like you did. I want your recommendation or tips.
I mean, first of all, you're in the right place. There's robologee, which you're in right now. So that's a good place to start. But you know, once you start to learn more and more coding, what I did was, you know, I started off with, I guess, if you like, you know, websites or apps, I mean, I guess for me, like, because I was self-taught, I didn't have any coding skills. I started with JavaScript, then went on to Swift. But I think a good place to start is Swift because it's as I said, like Swift is a very simple programming language to learn. But okay, a good app that you can use to learn is called Swift Playgrounds, which can actually teach you how to the basics of Swift and programming. And then after that, once you know more and more Swift, then you can actually, you know, start making apps like what I do. And then after that, there's actually I have my YouTube channel, Anyone Can Code, which is here. That's Anyone Can Code.
Kakak bisa follow nih Anyone Code.
Yeah. And yeah, if you go to my YouTube channel, you can I think they'll help you out learning how to make apps. So that's how I learned how to code. I went with Swift, but of course you do what you do. You do what you are passionate in.
Okay. Terima kasih Kak Yuma atas jawabannya. Thank you for the answers. Now we move to the next session. Jadi sesi tanya jawab sudah selesai. Acara selanjutnya yaitu sesi foto bersama yang akan dipandu oleh Kak Arin. Kak Arin, dipersilakan.
Oke, terima kasih Kak Ratu. Oke, untuk untuk yang belum mengaktifkan fitur videonya bisa diaktifkan terlebih dahulu ya fitur videonya. Nah, nanti untuk sesi fotonya ini ada 4 page ya teman-teman. Jadi kalian siap-siap aja berpose ya. Oke, silakan diaktifkan fitur videonya. Oke, sudah siap? Kita pose ya. 1, 2, 3. Oke, tunggu dulu. Satu ya. Kita foto lagi. Oke. 1, 2, 3. Oke. 2 kali lagi ya. Tunggu dulu. Yuk selanjutnya sekali lagi. Dua kali lagi ya. Silakan yang belum aktifkan bisa diaktifkan dulu. 1, 2, tunggu. Aduh. Tunggu ya. 1, 2, 3. Oke. Terakhir. Yuk, terakhir. 1, 2, 3. Oke, sip. Sudah selesai.
Oke, terima kasih Karin.
Sama-sama.
Papa dan Mama, kita masuk ke acara selanjutnya yaitu